Hi, welcome to Chinese New Year and Multisensory Exploration. This workshop was one I delivered back in January 2021, and I just thought it'd be nice to pop a recording up on the website because it's a story and resource and ideas and activities that you can use year after year. So I'm just going to minimize the thumbnail and then you can see the full slide, and we'll get started with the story. In this session, we're going to explore how to source your story props, how to use the props to promote communication and areas of learning, Chinese New Year themed sensory activities. I've got lots of ideas to share with you, and skills promoted during this sensory resource. A little bit of health and safety guidance. Please be allergy aware. Be aware of any potential choking hazards in the props that you might be using. Check the ingredients for any potential allergies. The interaction should be led by the student, who should be allowed to participate with expectation, never force stimuli, and stop the activity if the student shows signs they're not enjoying the session. Overall, we want you to have an enjoyable experience with your interactions and have some fun. So I'm going to read the poem in full, and then we'll break it down into the different sections. We polish the house and sweep the floor. To bring good luck, we sweep from the door. We decorate our housings with bunting of red. To celebrate the new year ahead. We wear clothes that are new and never wear black or blue. We dress in gold and bright red and buy new pajamas to wear in bed. To bring fortune and peace, we bang on a drum. I like to tap mine with my finger and thumb. We blow flutes and pluck instrument strings and play bells to hear chimes and rings. We light sticks of incense, the sound of the gong. The smell of the perfume is heavy and strong. Red envelopes decorated with gold are given to the young by the old. For our feast, we steam, boil and bake sticky noodles, dumplings and chewy rice cakes. Inside fortune cookies are paper notes that tell of your future in fun quotes. We watch the dragons twist and dance. They twirl and prance, then stare in a trance. Swinging and weaving from side to side, up and down, they slide and glide. Fireworks light up the sky in the night. The band's so loud, the colours so bright. We light lanterns when the festival ends. I watch mine flicker as I stand with my friends. So that ends the story of Chinese New Year. Let's celebrate with a clap and a cheer. So down the story into the different sections. You don't have to deliver the story in one session. You can break it down and keep building on learning when you revisit the story. We polish the house. So this is a nice activity, an opportunity to present a variety of cleaning cloths for sensory exploration. So you might look at yellow dusters. What do we use these for? Dusting and buffing. Blue roll. You might want to explore some fake chamois leather that one might use for polishing windows and mirrors. You could extend learning. Can the student match the correct item to the cleaning task? Say, for example, if we did have a spill, would we use blue roll or would we use a feather duster? Explore using the cloths wet and dry. They're going to feel very, very differently, especially that chamois leather, which becomes very heavy and slimy when you get it wet with water. You can discuss repurposing old clothes and material to make your own rags and cloths. I've popped on there as well foot dusters. These are quite fun. I know a lot of my students enjoy wearing these and having a little slide around. You're promoting gross motor skills. And again, with the mitts, these can be placed on the hands and the students can clean their lap trays or they can clean the tables with them. If you have any students that are tactile defensive, I know personally I don't really like the texture of those yellow dusting dusters, then you can offer them a pair of gloves to wear, which will act as a barrier. And sweep the floor. So we've polished the house, now we're moving on to sweeping the floor. And again, an opportunity to explore a variety of brushes, brooms and mop heads. And the student match the correct item to the cleaning task. I've got several items there. The handheld vacuum's quite good. It's a nice cause and effect. Press the button and it's got this wonderful sound and it will suck up crumbs, great for rescue cleaning, for crevices, seats and furniture. Maybe the students can work out that they're going to use two items together, such as the long-handled dustpan and brush. We wear clothes that are new and never wear black or blue. We dress in gold or bright red and buy new pajamas to wear in bed. So there's lots of different activities that you can do with this session as part of the story. You might want to do a lucky clothes sorting activity. You could get a pile of random clothes, different colours, and see if the students can pick out those lucky gold and red clothes, and also find clothes that you wouldn't wear, the black and the blue clothes. Maybe your student would like to dress in some of the clothes or put some pajamas on. You could provide a mirror so that they can see their reflection. This works really well if you've got some sparkly material. You can get a torch and shine it onto the material, and you will see all the sequins reflect, especially if you dim the lights in the classroom or your setting. You might want to explore some traditional clothes. Alternatively, you might want to have a look at material swatches. So these can be found in your local haberdashery, your furniture shops. They will have these swatches that are end of line. If you tell them that you work in education, they're more than happy to gift them to you or just to charge you. I think I paid 50p a pound for mine. Alternatively, you could explore the different hues and shades of reds with colour charts, which you can find at your local DIY centre. We decorate our house with bunting of red to celebrate the Chinese New Year ahead. So you could make some paper chains. You could extend the learning by adding two different colours and see if the student can create a repeating pattern. Maybe you want to choose those lucky colours, the reds and the golds. You could decorate your room together. You could explore using a variety of painting tools, brushes, rollers and sponges, and decorate the paper lanterns. Now you can buy these really cheaply, again at furniture shops and DIY places. I know IKEA sell these incredibly cheap. So you can buy red ones that the students could mark in gold or black, or they could paint their own lanterns red. We light incense to the sound of the gong. The smell of the perfume is heady and strong. A lovely opportunity to connect your students with music and to promote listening skills. You could be exploring gongs, finger cymbals. Why not have a relax with the Tibetan sound bowl? The incense stick, you could light this out of reach, but within eye line of the student. Can the student track the smoke as it rises? Smell that heady perfume. Just be aware if you're going to use incense sticks. I usually like to use these in the outdoor area. It's going to make the smoke rise nice and high for eye tracking. And also, I don't think the smoke on these is very good for our lungs, especially if you've got any students with respiratory problems. Alternatively, you might want to explore some different smells of essential oils. To bring fortune and peace, we bang on a drum. I like to tap mine with my finger and thumb. So again, a wonderful opportunity to explore different types of drums. I've got a nice hand drum that you can spin in your hands between your palms. I've got some snare drums. You might want to play with your fingers and thumbs or with the palms of the hand or your elbow. Or maybe the students would like to try using different sticks and beaters. I like to place rice on top of the drum so that when the students bang, the rice will dance around up and down. It just makes it a little bit more fun and adds another element. Extend learning. Can the student copy rhythms, beats and sequences, explore different volumes and tempos, loud, soft and slow, and model the language? We blow flutes and pluck instrument strings and play bells to hear chimes and rings. So again, it might be exploring a stringed instrument such as the guitar. Your students might want to play recorders, or I know that in shops like Home Bargains and Quality Save and B&M, you can buy these packs of whistles and flutes really cheaply. See if the students can play together. You could practice following instructions, put on the ankle bells or the wrist bells or the jingle bells. Can the students stop and start playing their instruments when you give the cue? Red envelopes of coins decorated with gold are given to the young by the old. So this is a lovely opportunity to explore chocolate coins or real coins. So do be aware of allergies and choking hazards, as I said before. Now you might want to decorate your own envelopes red. Use art materials and rollers and paints, or you could use red paper to make envelopes, or you can also buy red envelopes. Place the coin inside the envelope and see if the student can open the envelope independently to retrieve that coin. Can the student make a request for help if they need help in doing so? This is a lovely way to promote self-awareness. Now, counting coins is a fantastic activity. I like to use a pin, and I always find it easier if you encourage the student to listen to the sound the coin makes as it hits the bottom of the tin rather than counting the coin itself. You might want to take learning even further and link it into a science lesson, engage in scientific investigation, make dull copper coins shiny by soaking them in salt and vinegar. And you only need to do this for about 30 seconds and they'll come up lovely and shiny and new. It's a chance to discuss change and chemical reactions. For our feast, we steam, boil and bake sticky noodles, dumplings and chewy rice cakes. Inside fortune cookies are paper notes that tell of your future in fun quotes. So it's a nice opportunity to promote fine motor skills. You could offer the use of chopsticks or tweezers or jumbo grippers. See if your students can pick up these noodles using those chopsticks and grippers. You might want to explore the elasticity and stickiness of cup noodles and compare that to the snapping sound that dry noodles make and the difference in the texture. Alternatively, you could make your own noodles using flour and water. You could buy some fortune cookies and have fun listening to the snap of those. And you could read the little quotes out, and you could always personalize them for the students. If you haven't got any of these items, then an alternative is to use some crackers. I find these rice cakes have got a wonderful snap. So again, it's an opportunity for students to explore their likes, just as importantly, their dislikes. Can the student request more if they like an item, or can they make a rejection? And we want to teach our students to have the self-awareness and to be able to make rejections. So here are some nice ideas that you can go along with this part of the story. You might want to promote role play and set up your own restaurant. Tie in nicely with snack time. We watch the dragons twist and dance. They twirl and prance, then stare in a trance, swinging and weaving from side to side. Up and down they slide and glide. You could watch footage of a dragon dance. And the students move their bodies and copy the actions. You might want to make some dragon masks or explore face paints. You could get the ribbons out from the PE cupboards and move the ribbons around and see if the students can move their body. A lovely activity I like to do with my students is that we have a dragon dance and we go down the corridors in school and we visit different classrooms. We could also have a dragon weaving into assembly. Fireworks light up the sky in the night. The noise is so loud, the colours so bright. So you've got the option to release a party popper. Obviously, follow the health and safety with those. I like to do that outside because sometimes they can trigger fire alarms. Just be aware that if some of your students are sound sensitive, there are alternatives. You could make your own confetti bomb by simply throwing confetti, or you could place it inside a toilet roll holder, cardboard tube from the inner of a thin film or foil, and you could seal one end, put the confetti in, and then the students can just use their arm action to scatter it around. You could watch fireworks on your whiteboard, or you could do the salad spinner with the light up toys. That's always a lovely activity. Put some LED battery lights in there or some finger lights, give it a spin, dim those lights in the classroom. You could explore other light up toys. You've got all these wonderful neon bangles, and so on. I love the finger lights. You can see those in the top right-hand corner of the picture. They promote pointing and tracking. They give the students something to focus on as they look at their hands with the lights on. You can get a lovely sensory box. You could put some sparkly things in there, such as pom-poms, and dim the lights, let the student have and explore. We light lanterns when the festival ends. I watch mine flicker as I dance with my friends. Now, an opportunity to explore torches, and they don't have to be a simple on-off operation with a button. You can get wind-up torches, you can get dynamo squeeze torches, see if the students can work in pairs, one wind the torch up, the other one direct it. You could explore LED tea lights. Again, you could put a tea light inside your lantern that the students decorated. You can watch footage of lantern parades. There's some beautiful footage there on the internet. And for an alternative activity, you could taste bacillus. Now, do ensure this is the edible variety. You can get these from supermarkets. Don't really trust the ones in the gardens unless you know 100% they are edible. And remove the stone, because that is a choking hazard. But that's a lovely opportunity for your students to explore and try a new food. So that ends the story of Chinese New Year. Let's celebrate with a clap and a cheer. Very basic. Can the students follow instructions to start clapping and cheering? Now, you might want to use some clappers. You might want to record your students clapping and cheering on an SSTD, such as Big Mac or a talking tile or a talking peg. The skills promoted during this multisensory story session include, well, first of all, my main joy of story sharing is creating that bond between the storyteller and the story explorer as you share your adventures together. We've explored culture in the celebration of Chinese New Year. We've promoted communication skills, eye contact, listening, all that shared attention and language and communication development. Explored and expressed likes, dislikes, and sensory preferences, and your students will have opportunities to make choices. There have been some creative arts and craft activities, and I've got some ideas to share with you. Think about the paper lanterns. Poetry, your students have been listening to that rhythm and rhyme. That forms the basic blocks of our communication. Promoted self-awareness. Maybe your students have had to ask for help. Think about that chocolate coin, getting the little silver foil wrapper off there. Maybe they've asked you to repeat an activity. Again, I'd like to watch that rice bouncing off the drums or more. Or maybe your students decided they don't like something and they've requested no or stop. And then you've explored cause and effect. Think about the torches and lights. Promoted physical development, fine motor skills and hand-eye coordination, manipulation of controls and props, independent skills. So early in the story, we looked at dressing and clothes and fastenings and cleaning and polishing. D&T nutrition, explored and tasted new foods, or maybe you did make some noodles from scratch. Explored musical instruments, physical development with the dragon dance. Promoted social skills. So if you've been working in a group or even working in pairs, your students will have had to wait, to turn take, to share, listen to other people's ideas and experiences. And altogether, you will have increased personal, social, and emotional development, self-confidence. Your students may have tried new skills and celebrate the achievements that they've accomplished during the session. And the stories form a base on which to scaffold learning, enabling students to work on personal goals and individual targets. So here are some of my favourite activities linking to Chinese New Year. This is my idea for a great race and multi-sensory version. So you're going to have sensory props to represent the animals of the zodiac. So your rat could be a piece of string representing the tail, or you could get one of those clockwork mice or rats and work on building anticipation skills. Bone and wool could represent the ox. Tiger could be represented by some stripy material, a back scratcher or a wide tooth comb gently drawn on the skin. Cotton wool or a carrot to represent your rabbit. Red and yellow ribbons, or those dancing ribbons that you use in PE, or a party blower will recreate the effect of a dragon breathing fire. Or you might want to smell represent the fire of the dragon, which could be lapsang souchong tea, or you may have some embers from a fire if you've got fire at home. A guiro or a rattle could be your snake. Plastic cups to create the horse's hooves. Suede or fake chamois leather is lovely because it represents the skin of the goat. You might want to do some tasting, food tasting, dried banana chips, banana smoothie or milkshake, or sliced banana, mashed banana to represent the monkey. Feathers for your cockerel, or you could introduce a sound effect, record that from the website. Now, the BBC have got a sound effects website with over 16,000 sound effects, free to use on a REMARC license, which means if you work in a school setting, they're free for you to use. And the students imitate the sound of the cockerel, record it and play it back and use it in your story. You could have a dog toy or a collar to represent the dog, and a curly pink pipe cleaner for the pig. And don't forget the cat. He was in the race, but he was pushed into the water by that pesky rat. And I think a slinky is a lovely tactile object because it just recreates the movement of a cat. So as I said before, use recording devices to play back the animal sounds. And then you could also recreate the river. So add some spinach leaves to warm water. That's going to give you that authentic river smell. And I say warm water because when we're using water, it's nice for the students to have the water or the mist feel nice and warm. Cold water can be a little bit of a shock for them, unless your story is about a cold raging sea or the Arctic. So, ancient Chinese sensory art you could explore. We've talked about paper lanterns. You could make kites. You could explore embroidery and silks. You could make pom-poms, do some weaving. Calligraphy, try your hands at some Chinese writing. You could recreate paintings and also statues. Use the sensory items and traditional mediums. Materials found in nature in your artwork. So, for example, I've got some tea leaves in there, and you could explore the different varieties. They've got different tastes and textures. You could use rice paper and paint on your rice paper. You could make your own moldables. You can use herbs and spices and even bark. So, a nice D&T activity are making terracotta warriors. Use Play-Doh, clay or plasticine to recreate your warriors. Explore ranging using a range of tools, cutters, rollers, wooden or plastic clay, modelling tools. A nice simple recipe is a cup of flour to half a cup of salt, add your water and your food colouring and essences. And think about your students as well. So if you want to promote fine motor skills and want your students to pinch and grab and stretch that clay or homemade dough, then you would put more flour and less water in there. You might want to put some oil in to make it smooth. And if your student is still strengthening their finger muscles, you can make a looser dough by adding more oil and water. You could add red and brown food colouring or spices such as grated nutmeg and cinnamon powder. They're going to give you this lovely terracotta texture, look, smell to it. And you could crush star anise using a pestle and mortar, make it smell really lovely with the aniseed. Now you may want to recreate an artwork, and I've chosen the 5 Oxen, a really old painting by Han Huang. Now you could work in groups, so each student or group of students could work on 1 ox each. So at the end of the session, you bring the oxen together. And as you can see, we've got 1 looking left, 1 looking right, 1 looking up, 1 looking down, and 1 looking straight ahead. So you could use googly eyes for the eyes. You could print using red ink these little Chinese symbols there. You could carve them into potatoes. You could use chamois leather for the ox skin. I like to use fake chamois leather. Same with the suede. Your tail could be made of string. Your glasses could be dried on grasses from the garden or the outdoor area. You could go and collect these with your. So that completes my ideas. Now there is a full multisensory story and training pack, which includes the fully resourced step-by-step multisensory story, how to break it down, and lots of different prop ideas. It's £3.98 to buy. You can visit the shop, which is www.etsy.com/UK/shop/multisensory stories. Or if you would like a little discount, you can buy direct by emailing me at rhymingmultisensorystories@outlook.com. That gives you a discount, £3.50 you would pay. The table of contents, it tells you how to source your props. It's got the story, breakdown of the skills promoted, a themed listening game sensory bin, and Chinese New Year sensory bag ideas. Recreating the Great Wall of China. Again, it's got a breakdown of the terracotta warriors and 5 oxen and the sensory art. Ideas for ink painting. It's got Great Race plus the multisensory version that I showed you before. It's a guided relaxation adventure where you can take your students on a trip to China and through their imaginations and their senses to join in the celebrations. There's a little piece on Chinese New Year, lucky and unlucky gifts, Chinese musical instruments, dragons, ideas for spring cleaning your classroom, and some miscellaneous activities as well. You can also subscribe to the members library. Now you can have 20 users per site license. You have unlimited access to all resources. There's workshop recordings, workshops, videos, and you also receive a 50% discount on any inset or fall training workshops. I think there's currently about 39 teachers and resources in there, plus the videos, £95 for an annual subscription. I do offer training and workshops. I have a multisensory storytelling and sensory activities workshop. These run via Zoom for 2 hours. There's one aimed at parents, grandparents, guardians, and caregivers. There's a professionals workshop aimed at professionals working with children and teenagers. So SEN, mainstream teachers, SENCOs, early years practitioners, your HLTAs, TAs, learning support, nursery managers, nursery nurses, childminders, basically anybody with an interest in storytelling through the senses. And there's also an activity workshop based for activity coordinators and support workers, professionals working with adults in residential and daycare settings. Don't forget to visit the blog for all the latest news, views, and a free monthly teaching calendar packed with ideas and sense inspiration for the month. And there's also free resources that you can find on the website. So don't forget that your comments and feedback are always welcome, as are your questions and queries. I really hope that you've enjoyed the Chinese Year celebration workshop. If you would like to view any of the other workshops, head over to the website and just drop down to videos. Thank you. Bye-bye.